A lot of you are headed to the beach to celebrate the holiday weekend.
Yes, and so meteorologist Brittany Van Voorhees is joining us now to boost our weather IQ and help keep you safe during your summer fun. We've heard about rip currents really all week long, Brittany.
Yeah, you know, it's been a big talker, especially over the past 2 weeks, as the northwestern Gulf Coast has seen 11 deaths in just 2 weeks. For the whole year so far, though, there have been 60, beach hazard related deaths so far, 55 of them rip currents. That's 92%. I've also seen some talkers on social media that, look, you can kind of see the rip current. Make sure you're looking for it before you go to the beach. Well, this is a shot from up in the air. Most people are not going to be able to see that because closer to, where you're walking onto the beach, your look is kind of like this. Yes, can you examine the coast sometimes and see that little break? Absolutely. But it's going to be something that's really, really hard to spot. So if you see those things on social media, just know that it's not an easy thing to look for. You have to know exactly what to look for. So this is what you should see. This kind of break in some of the breaks on the swells on both sides. You're going to see that kind of break in some of the extreme waves on both ends. Essentially, the rip current is going to try to pull you out to sea. What oftentimes happens is people go against the current. They really tire themselves out because they're kind of panicking and swimming against. What you want to do is you want to break it. You want to swim parallel to the shore. You may have heard that before. But another thing you can do is actually float on your back. Essentially, the water will slowly move you instead of you swimming against the current. Now, of course, we know that rip currents can be extremely, extremely dangerous. So again, don't fight the current. You want to swim to the side, parallel to the shore, float or tread water if you absolutely can't do anything else. I think this has just been especially a talker because of how many deaths there have been over the past few weeks and really this year so far. The National Weather Service, I was talking to them earlier, the ones out of Morehead City, and so far this year we've had about 55. Last year, for the whole entire year, it was about 80 or so. So we're already kind of higher than normal. So just remember this if you're heading to the coast. If maybe you have friends and family that are heading there as well, even if it's not our coast, you can get rip currents along the Atlantic, along the Gulf. Even Brad and I were talking about this earlier. He said even in the Great Lakes, even though they're not quite as bad. So I think it's just important to know that if there is that body of water, there is a chance, of course, that you can get pulled into one of those rip currents.
Well, to be honest, it seems against human instinct, right? When you're being pulled away from the beach to not let yourself, right, to try and get back. So it's something that you have to fight and be aware of.
Yeah, and you're never going to tell like a parent, not to go in right after their kids. It's just not something that your instincts are telling you to do. But if you can kind of avoid it when those flags are bad, Brad was talking about that in the 4 o'clock newscast, or just knowing what the risk is, you can hopefully prevent it from ever having to be an issue.
Well, in that story we aired earlier this week when we were talking about the deaths.
About the flags, yeah.
The lifeguard saying, please always swim near a lifeguard.
It's a great point, too.
Obviously, if that's a great point, too.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for checking that all out for us, Brittany. We appreciate that. It's great to have those weather IQs as well.
Yeah. And the graphics, very handy, actually. I felt like I finally got it.
Yeah.
I finally got it with that.
So let's talk about that forecast because a lot of folks are heading out, right, for the